The stars burned cold and distant as Admiral Helena Vance stood on the bridge of the ISS Thunderborn. Her eyes were fixed on the tactical display. The numbers kept climbing. 2,000 enemy ships, then 3,000. Now the count had stopped at 4,217 vessels. The Kethra Collective had brought their entire war fleet to this lonely system at the edge of human space. Commander James Ortega stepped beside her. His face showed worry that he tried to hide. The young officer had never seen combat at this scale. Nobody in the Imperial fleet had seen anything like this. "Admiral, they outnumber us 40-1, he said. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled slightly at his sides. Helena turned to face him. She was a woman in her 50s with gray streaks in her dark hair. Her face carried the marks of 30 years of service. She had fought in the border wars. She had survived the massacre at Proxima. She had buried friends and enemies alike across a dozen worlds. "I can count, Commander," she replied. There was no anger in her voice, only the calm patience of someone who had stared at death many times before. The bridge crew worked at their stations with nervous energy. 104 ships made up the Third Imperial Fleet. They were the only things standing between the Kethra invasion force and the colony worlds of the Outer Reach. 12 million human beings lived on those worlds. Farmers, workers, children, families who had never heard the sound of weapons fire. Captain Sarah Chun approached from the communications station. "Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the Kethra flagship. They are requesting our surrender." Helena allowed herself a small smile. "Put them on screen." The main display flickered. The image of a Kethra commander appeared. The alien species looked like a terrible combination of insect and reptile. Their skin was dark green and covered in small scales. 4 eyes sat in a triangular pattern on their flat faces. 2 large mandibles clicked together as the commander spoke. "Human Admiral," the alien said. His voice was translated through the computer into flat English words. "I am War Leader Trixon of the Kethra Collective. You are trapped. Your fleet is small. Your situation is hopeless. Surrender your ships, and we will grant your crews quick deaths. Resist, and we will burn your worlds to ash." Helena clasped her hands behind her back. She stood tall and proud in her dark uniform with its silver decorations. "War Leader Trixon, I am Admiral Helena Vance of the Imperial Fleet. I have a counteroffer for you." The alien's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "You are in no position to make offers, human. Turn your fleet around. Leave this system. Return to your own space. Do this, and I will let you live." Silence filled the bridge. Both human and alien crew members stared in disbelief. 4,000 ships against 100. The human admiral was either insane or she knew something they did not. Trixon made a strange sound that the translator could not process. It might have been laughter. "You humans are amusing creatures, so small, so fragile, so confident in your own importance. Very well. You have made your choice. Your deaths are now your own responsibility." The transmission ended. The tactical display showed the Kethra fleet beginning to move forward. Their formation spread wide like the wings of some massive bird of prey. Commander Ortega stepped closer to Helena. "Admiral, with respect, what is our plan? We cannot survive a direct engagement with those numbers." Helena turned to face her bridge crew. Every eye was on her. Fear lived in those eyes, but so did trust. They had followed her into hell before, and they were prepared to do it again. "All hands," Helena said into the ship-wide communication system. "This is Admiral Vance. The enemy thinks they have won because they have more ships than us. They think numbers equal victory. They are wrong." She walked to the center of the bridge where a holographic display showed both fleets. The Kethra have spent 50 years conquering species across 200 worlds. They have never lost a war. They have never faced an enemy who refused to die. They believe that their victory today is certain. That arrogance is going to destroy them. Helena pressed a button on her command console. All ships, this is a priority order. Execute Battle Plan Omega-7. Weapons free. Show them what the Imperial fleet is made of. The third fleet began to move. 104 ships formed into tight attack groups, 20 ships in each group. Each group flew in perfect formation. Decades of training and discipline showed in every movement. The ISS, Thunderborn, led the central group. She was a Devastator-class battleship, 2 kilometers long and armed with enough firepower to crack a small moon. Her hull was thick armor plated with quantum shielding that could absorb hits that would vaporize lesser vessels. Enemy fleet entering weapons range in 90 seconds. Lieutenant Park announced from the sensor station. Helena watched the enemy approach. The Kethra used beam weapons. Fast, accurate, perfect for overwhelming enemies with volume of fire. Their ships were light and quick. They fought like wolves, attack in numbers, wear down the prey. Never commit to a direct fight. Humanity had taken a different path. All ships, Helena ordered, charge main batteries. Prepare Nova cannons for synchronized fire. The Nova cannon was humanity's answer to alien aggression. A weapon born from desperation during the border wars. It fired a compressed ball of artificial solar plasma at near light speed. A single shot could destroy a cruiser. A coordinated volley from multiple ships could erase a fleet from existence. Main batteries charged, Commander Ortega reported. Nova cannons at 90%. All ships report ready status. Helena watched the numbers count down. 70 seconds. 50 seconds. The Kethra fleet kept coming. Their formation showed no fear. 4,000 ships confident in their inevitable victory. 30 seconds. Helena could see individual ships now on the tactical display. Carriers, cruisers, destroyers. An entire civilization's military power gathered in one place. 20 seconds. Helena drew a slow breath. 10 seconds. Fire, she said. The universe turned white. 104 Nova cannons fired at the same moment. Each shot was a small sun racing across the void. The coordinated timing meant the energy beams merged together in flight. They combined into waves of destruction that swept through the Kethra formation like scythes through wheat. The first wave of plasma struck the enemy vanguard. 300 ships vanished in an instant. Their shields might as well have been paper. Their armor might as well have been air. They simply ceased to exist as the artificial solar fire consumed them. The second wave hit the main body. 500 more ships died. Their formations scattered as captains tried to evade something that could not be evaded. The third wave struck before the Kethra could even begin to respond. 400 more vessels became expanding clouds of debris and gas. In less than 10 seconds, the Kethra Collective had lost 1,200 ships. A quarter of their entire fleet gone before they could fire a single shot. War leader Trixon stared at his tactical display in horror. This was not possible. This was not how war worked. Numbers were supposed to matter. Numbers were supposed to win. Return fire! He screamed at his crew. All ships returned fire. The surviving Kethra vessels opened up with everything they had. Thousands of beam weapons painted the void with lines of green energy. They struck the human fleet with enough power to destroy a planet. The Imperial ships kept coming. Helena felt the Thunderborn shudder as enemy fire washed over her shields. Warning lights flickered across the bridge. Damage reports came in from across the fleet. Shields were holding. Armor was holding. The quantum defensive systems absorbed energy that would have destroyed any Kethra vessel 10 times over. Nova cannons recharged, Ortega reported. His voice now carried excitement instead of fear. All batteries ready. Fire at will, Helena ordered. Make them understand their mistake. The Imperial fleet opened up with everything they had. Nova cannons fired in rolling volleys. Plasma torpedoes launched in swarms of hundreds. Kinetic rounds accelerated to impossible speeds, punched through enemy hulls like needles through cloth. The Kethra fleet died by the hundreds with each passing minute. Trixon watched his forces vanish from his tactical display. His 4,000 ships had become 3,000, then 2,000, then 1,000. His commanders were screaming for retreat. His crew were begging him to run, but there was nowhere to run. The human fleet had positioned themselves between the Kethra and the system exit. Every escape route was blocked by those terrible weapons. Helena pressed forward. Her fleet carved through the enemy formation like a blade through flesh. The Devastator-class ships absorbed punishment that would have destroyed entire Kethra squadrons. The heavy cruisers delivered death with mechanical precision. Even the smaller destroyers fought with a ferocity that shocked the aliens. Enemy flagship identified, Lieutenant Park announced. Bearing 047. Range decreasing. Helena saw it on the display. Trixon's command ship was trying to rally what remained of his fleet. Perhaps 300 vessels still had fight in them. They clustered around their leader like frightened children. All ships concentrate fire on the flagship, Helena ordered. And this, the Imperial fleet turned as one. 100 ships aimed their weapons at a single target. The Kethra flagship was massive, nearly 4 kilometers long, the largest warship their species had ever built. It lasted 11 seconds under concentrated Imperial fire. The flagship exploded in a ball of green flame. War leader Trixon died without ever understanding what had happened. His entire worldview collapsed in those final moments. Numbers were supposed to win. That was the rule. That was how the universe worked, but humanity had never followed anyone else's rules. The surviving Kethra ships scattered. Some tried to surrender. Others tried to flee. The Imperial fleet showed mercy to those who stopped fighting. The runners were less fortunate. Helena watched the last enemy ship disappear from her tactical display. Silence fell over the bridge. Then someone started clapping. Others joined in. Within moments, the entire crew was cheering. Commander Ortega approached Helena with tears in his eyes. "Admiral, we won, against impossible odds." "We won," Helena nodded slowly. Her face showed no joy, only the tired satisfaction of a job completed. "Casualties?" 12 ships destroyed. Another 30 damaged. Approximately 4,000 crew lost. Ortega checked his datapad. Enemy losses are still being calculated. Preliminary estimates suggest over 3,800 ships destroyed or disabled. Helena closed her eyes for a moment. 4,000 human lives lost. Each one had been someone's child, someone's friend, someone's love. She would remember them all. "Send a message to Fleet Command," she said. "Tell them the Outer Reach is secure. Tell them the Kethra Collective no longer has a war fleet. Tell them the Imperial Navy has once again demonstrated that superior firepower beats superior numbers." She walked to the viewport and stared out at the debris field that had been an alien armada. Somewhere in that wreckage floated the remains of species that had conquered 200 worlds. They had believed they were invincible. They had believed humans were just another victim. They had been wrong. Helena allowed herself one small smile. "And Commander? Make sure they know. Make sure everyone knows. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity fights. And when humanity fights, we win." The Thunderborn turned toward home. Behind her, the stars continued their cold, eternal burning. But now they burned over a universe that had learned a valuable lesson. Numbers could be overwhelming. Numbers could seem unstoppable. But against human determination and human firepower, numbers meant nothing at all. The Kethra had brought 4,000 ships to this battle. The Imperial fleet had brought 100, and 100 had been more than enough.